Knitting Modular by Melissa Leapman is exactly the book that I need to have in my life right now. I'm Michelle, and this is my romantic tangle, and if you've watched some of my recent videos, you'll know that I have a lot of yarn to knit my way through, and I love knitting shawls. This book is like... One of the quotes on the back calls it a choose-your-own adventure of shawl design, and that is exactly what it is and why I love it so much. It has 185 stitch patterns. So what the book does is it shows you how to start with a tab start, which if you knit triangular top-down shawls, you know how to do. And then it has dozens and dozens of different stitches you can use for the body of your shawl. It has them divided by the multiples, so 8 stitch, 10 stitch, 12 stitch, 14 stitch, so that you can transition from one stitch pattern to another. It has horizontal insertions so that you can put a horizontal stripe between your stitch patterns. It has vertical insertions so you can go up and down in the center panel. And I always do the knit one yarn over method of increasing on my shawls. This has 2 other edgings that I didn't know you could do. So there is a lot here that is making me very happy. And then there are the shawls. There are 20 different shawls where it tells you which stitches to use and in what combination you would need to do to reproduce the shawls they used for the pictures in this book. This one is for wedge-based shawls, so you can do the 2 wedges that will make a triangle, which is kind of how I do my shawls. You can knit multiple wedges and seam them together to make a trapezoid. You can put wedges together to make... Here, there's a chart. You can use the wedges to make different shapes of shawls. What that means is that there are shawls you can't do with these shapes. Oh, and did I tell you there are edgings? There are edgings. It's got all the things. But the way the charts are written, you could use one of these stitch patterns. You could just use the repeat and you could make a rectangular shawl. There's nothing from stopping you from doing that. It has a glossary. It has all the things you would expect from a good knitting book, and there are 20 shawls illustrated in the book where they give you the exact sequence of which stitch patterns for how many rows you would need to reproduce them. I'm kind of giddy. I read this cover to cover twice. Once when I first got my hands on it about 18 months ago, once when I was getting ready to make this video. There's a lot of inspiration here. There are a lot of options here. I tend to look for shawl patterns and then use whatever weight of yarn I have on hand. I make adaptations rather willy-nilly from my Ravelry queue. So I like that this gives me the option to just pick something I like the looks of and do what I want to do. It does not tell you how to figure out how much yardage you would need to make the shawl you want to make the size you want to make it. My answer to that would be to find a similarly sized shawl on Ravelry in the same weight of yarn and see how many yards they do and take that as a very, very loose approximation of how it might work out. If I am doing something that requires a big fancy border knit at the end, I'm going to make sure I have a whole lot of extra yarn because I personally I don't know how to calculate that yet. I mean, I might just have a contrasting color of the same type of yarn and plan B to do a contrasting edging if that is what I need. Do you have this book? Have you knit a shawl from it? Do you have another shawl knitting book that you absolutely recommend and think would be a game changer? If you do, let me know in the comment section down below. I will, of course, let you know what I make from this. I think it's a shawl knitter's dream. I can't wait to get started. Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle, and this is my romantic tangle, and I'll be back with you with more videos soon.